remember thinking, this is my last shot. I'm not gonna come back and try it again. You know, failing twice there's no room for that. I first tried Cayambe late October of last year, so 1 year ago. Cayambe is this 19,000 foot volcano in Ecuador. It's the point on the earth that spins the fastest. And the weather on it is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Whoa, as I was sitting there damaged, then you came with your arms wrapped around me.
Me and my buddies, Stothy, Tucker, and Charlie, left our apartment in Quito and drove to the refuge with our guide. I mean, it took us 4 cars to get there, and the road was completely messed up.
If I was a slave, if I was a slave.
And when we arrived to the refuge, I've never really been in a refuge in my life. And so just the culture, the environment there, it was so cool. There's this guy I talked to about Cayambe, and he told me he tried it 8 times, and he still never made it to the summit. I remember hearing that, I was like, what am I getting myself into? You know? As the night fell, we woke up at about 11 p.m. to make our summit push. So we got our gear together, and there was just this quiet. It was too quiet. And we stepped outside of the refuge. I remember my first thought was like, it should be cold right now, but it's not. We had about an hour before we got onto the glacier, and I've never even put on crampons in my life, or even had to step on a glacier. So that was completely foreign to me. And I remember we stopped when we hit our first avalanche slope, which is a slope over 30 degrees. I mean, I wasn't even on a 30-degree slope yet, and I was already just so tired. And so my guy just starts with his ice axe, digging this kind of square hole on the slope. He starts punching the layers of snow, checking its strength, and once he got to like the bottom of the little hole he dug, his fist went like right through, which is conditions of a slab avalanche. There's no way we can keep going in these conditions. I told myself I'm gonna come back when I'm stronger, smarter, faster, and I'm gonna summit this mountain, no matter what. From that moment on, I basically just pushed my body in every possible way. I knew I wasn't gonna let the altitude be the problem. On June 28th of this past summer, I flew back to Ecuador to start acclimatizing. I grew a pretty close relationship with my guide, Marco. He's so knowledgeable. He's got a great pace, and he trusted me. I trusted him. The day of when we had to leave for Cayambe, Marco picked me up from my apartment in Quito, and we got on the road and everything felt the same as last time. Cayambe it's like a snow leopard, never lets itself be seen. But I noticed the clouds started to clear a little bit, and I got my first view up close of Cayambe. And it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Just this huge ice cap on the summit of the mountain. So dauntingly beautiful. But just as quickly as the mountain appeared, it disappeared. And it gave me a reminder of how quickly weather can change. And it did. That night, I barely got any sleep. The wind was hitting against the refuge, and I was so nervous. I was so anxious. After leaving the refuge, the wind kind of settled down a little bit because we had to traverse this like rock section, and so we were not really exposed to the wind. But once we got onto the glacier after an hour, we got to our first avalanche slope. And we started going up, and I was ready for it. But it's still so hard. Nobody understands what it's like being at 18,000 feet. Your body is not recovering. Each step takes 2 breaths minimum. There is just this white wind, icy, hurt, just blowing from the summit. I mean, it was blinding us, and we were just getting covered. I told myself, there's no way I'm failing this mountain twice. A half hour passes. And then another half hour passes. And then a couple hours pass. I'm like, okay, he's not stopping, right? Like, let's go. We basically just had this super steep head wall until we got up onto the upper glacier. And once we got up on top, Mark was just standing there, just looking at this huge crevasse field with these overhanging seracs that are 20, 30 feet high. Crevasses, I don't even know how deep. And he has no idea where to go. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, the route. It's gone. And my heart just sank. Thinking that we got through all that just for the entire route that's been there for 20 years to get wiped out. One team already turned around, and it was just me and Marco and 3 others in one team, and we just went straight in, walking on snow bridges that we have no idea could collapse at any moment. It was legit, but I was like, this is the most beautiful and cool thing I've ever done. All the memories just came rushing back. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to stop again. I'm not giving up. I can't give up. It's not in the blood.
We're on this super steep slope right now. It's amazing, incredible. Surrounded by these crevasses and seracs. And I mean, just look at what is above me right now. That's insane.
Once we got on this super wide summit ridge, the wind was the strongest I've ever felt. And I remember I had to put on my ski goggles, and I'd put them on, I'd wipe them, and just get hit with ice again. I'd have to wipe, get hit with ice. Just I had to do that process over and over and over again. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And it was like all those months of training and thinking and planning. And God grants you a moment, and you take it.
Running wild indeed, I am.
And the coolest part about it was everything that I had except my GoPro froze. I couldn't take out my camera to take a picture. I couldn't even use my phone. It was like God gave me this moment, but now I can only remember it.
Running wild.